Brothers and sisters, good afternoon. This is Rick's Callender. Today is the 15th day of May. It is now 17:50 or 10 to 6 Pacific Standard Time. I want to talk about a video that just surfaced with reference to what appears to be an elderly gentleman having been robbed in Barbados. Not terribly unique to what's going on in the world as a whole, but what is really very serious is the fact that nowadays we normalize things like this happening. It becomes normal. People have become anesthetized or desensitized to these kinds of travesties of justice. And as a result, um, our society goes into a tailspin morally and spiritually. Um, what used to be uniquely Barbados, at least when I lived there many, many years ago, was that we were a caring, embracing people. We were a people who looked out for our neighbors, looked out for our villages and our communities, looked out for our island folks. Today, we have become insulated to our own selves, islands unto our own selves, and not very interested in the passage of decency for children, women, and the elderly. And that leads us into spaces that are certainly in decline and morally and spiritually bankrupt. Brothers and sisters, we got to be able to do better, because what happened to that elderly gentleman today will happen to one of us in the future as we age, as we become more fragile. We used to respect elderly folk. Um, we used to respect fragility, and we were ready, willing, and able to assist. And that has gone the way of, I don't know, cultural um, appropriation, or should I say misappropriation, where we have enveloped um, the cultural norms of other countries, larger industrialized northern countries, because that never used to be Barbados's way. Um, we could speak to police enforcement, governmental enforcement, the enforcement of the clerics in the churches, schools, or whatever else we could speak to, but those things are really minute as it relates to us as individuals, as people. Where our moral compass goes is larger than any other institutional situation that might be placed in front of us. I think that if we go back to it taking a village to raise a child, and we go back to the Afrocentric aspect of who we are or who we were, then we would realize that the elderly, they have a large amount of legacy to leave us knowledge wise, and children and women encompass episodically a major aspect of our lives. When we decline to protect those entities, then we have failed as a people, truly failed. I'm not saying anything that most of you haven't realized or don't know, but every now and then we need to have a conversation with each other that speaks to lifting each other up rather than tearing each other down, extending a hand to help each other rather than looking down on each other, and holding on to some of our Barbadian values. You know, those values weren't all bad. Those values, those Bajan DNA values, were some of the sweetest values that a human being could have been blessed to have had. And to go the way of North America or wherever else, we have found this decentralization of value norms has done us a tremendous disservice. I hope that we can envisage futuristically getting back to the value system that made us emboss on our national ethos, pride in industry. Pride. There's no pride in robbing an elderly man, dispossessing him of all that he may have had on him for that day. There's no pride in that. That we get back to cultural norms, not inclusive of violence, that we be able to look at dealing with issues um, with some level of approachability that does not necessitate violence. I would hope that for my beloved, for all of you Barbados. As usual, God bless. God bless you and yours, and God bless Barbados, the government of Barbados. And for the gentleman that was robbed, I pray you well. I hope that nothing physical became of your incident today, and I hope that we would reach out with some level of sensitivity as a people on the island.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.